Hello and welcome to completing your FAFSA for the 2020-2021 aid year. In this tutorial, you'll be learning how to complete your FAFSA and what things you're required to complete your FAFSA. So the first step in completing your FAFSA will be to creating an FSA ID for yourself, the student, and also your parent if you are under the age of 24. The Department of Ed guidelines say that if a student is under the age of 24, they are considered a dependent student and will need to provide parent information, but there are some exceptions which we'll discuss later. So you'll have to Google FCID, and it's this first link right here. If you need the actual link up top, so you know you're going to the right website, it's right there. All right. Then from there, you'll enter in your username and password, and then you'll click continue, and you'll complete the following steps for obtaining your FSA You'll do this for the parent as well. It takes about 10 minutes. It's not too bad, if not shorter than 10 minutes. If you ever need to go back and say you forgot your password, you can come here to manage my FSA ID, and then you enter in your information, and then you're good to go. So the next step would be to actually Googling the FAFSA, and then that way you can complete the FAFSA application. From there, you'll go on to this first link right here, and then you'll click login. And from there, you'll go to I am the student, and you'll sign in using your student FSA ID. I'll be using a test student, so I'll just jump to the inside the application after you've logged in. Okay. So today we'll be filling out the 2021 FAFSA. If you've never filled out a FAFSA for either year, it'll look just like this. But also be aware that the 2021 and 2022 FAFSA is out as well, and a new FAFSA comes out every October. So make sure to set yourself a little reminder to do your FAFSA every October 1st. But today we will do the 2020-2021 FAFSA. The steps for completing both are pretty similar. So now it's asking for a save key. So at any time you want to leave the FAFSA because you have something else you need to do that's more urgent, you can save the FAFSA, save your progress, and then come back to it at a later time. So it's going to present you with this screen, and then you'll just, if you want, you can read through these. They just give some helpful hints of what you're doing on the FAFSA, how long it is to complete, and everything as such. So starting off, these are all pre-answered because this is a test student, so we'll just be going through and answering the questions and then explaining further. Okay, so let's get started. This section is just asking for your student information, so you'll give it your email and your phone number and everything as such. So when you get to this screen, you'll see that it's saying that you're able to transfer your FAFSA to the New Jersey State application. This is basically the NJ application, which you'll need to complete after completing the FAFSA so that you're eligible for state grants as well. In order to receive this, of course, you'll have to be a New Jersey resident for 5 years, and then you'll also have to be a U.S. citizen. If you are not a U.S. citizen, there's also a drop-down menu to signify what you are. If you have any confusion on what exactly you are, you can click this question mark right here, and it will take you to an FAQ page where they explain everything about the question and everything like that. So these are also littered throughout. If you notice, we've been going through and you see these little question marks. Those are what those are. And at any point, if you are curious as to what the question is asking, you can click that question mark and then find out the answer from there. So now it's asking more about your high school information and everything as such. You'll input what degree certificate you'll be working towards. Here's a list of everything that is offered. And then also a major fact is that if you have a bachelor's degree, you won't be able to receive the Pell Grant. So just keep that in mind. You'll be loan eligible only for if you have a bachelor's degree already. It looks like this student is a first year, never attended, but if this doesn't apply to you, there are other options that you can go through. Also, this is asking for work study. So work study is basically a program at the school where you can work and receive money, as in like a cash check where you receive like any other job. Also, I want to point out, let's say you had to leave right here and stop. You can click this save button and then continue using that save key like I mentioned before. Now, this next question is pertaining to selective service. All male students are required to register for selective service in order to receive financial aid. If you are under the age of 26, you will not be drafted to the selective service, because that's basically what selective service is. Selective service is basically saying if there's a national draft, you will be selected to be sent out to the war during war times. If you are not registered, you would simply click this no, and then from there you will answer any of these two questions if you want to or not. Remember, if you don't register for selective service, you won't be able to receive aid. But seeing as how our student, that the test student, was female, we're going to select this female right here and click no. Because females, it's optional for you guys to register for selective service. So now it's asking about a driver's license. So if you do not have a driver's license, that's completely fine. You can just skip this question. But otherwise, if you do have a driver's license, you can put it here. In this case, the student does not have a driver's license, so we're just going to click next. This is asking about if you were in foster care or any time. This student was not. And also, they have two parents that went to high school. But if you don't know your parents' educational background, you can click other unknown or select whichever one their highest completion rate of high school or college and beyond. Okay, now it's asking more questions about your high school. You'll confirm that here by clicking this question mark. And then you can see that it is listed right here. So we're just going to click select. That just basically confirms that this is the actual high school and everything, all the information is correct. Now it's asking about the school code. This is very important. This is how we receive your FAFSA. So make sure that you add the school code. You can find our school code on the website, or you can email us and we can give it to you. The school code is 006901. Then you'll click search, and there's our college right there. You'll click select, and then let's say you wanted to add another school. You can just click add more schools. So in order to search the college that you were looking for, you'll just simply have to enter in the state and then enter in the school's name, and then you can click search. From there, it'll open up right here. You can add it to the school. Next. And you'll see that it's asking for another question, housing plan. For Rowan College, South Jersey, we don't offer on-campus housing, so it's usually with parent or off-campus. If we're on university, let's just say on-campus. So this next set of questions are asking about your dependency status. So if you are under the age of 24, it will be asking for questions to see if this is correct, and you can report here to see if there are difficulties with obtaining your parent information that you were unable to, and you can list these here, and then you'll have to reach out to the school, and then we'll be able to guide you through what we call a dependency override. So from here, you can check your marital status and everything like that. These are more questions asking if you have legal dependents or anything like that. More questions that are applying to see if you can be eligible for an independent student. If none of these apply, you can simply check none of the above. Then it's asking if you're homeless. You can check yes or no to this. And then to follow up with the school, and then we'll be able to assist you. And then from here, it's asking if you are able to provide parent information, or if you have a special circumstance where you cannot provide parent information. So from there, this will give us a red flag, and then you can contact us, and we'll be able to reach out to you, or we'll contact you, vice versa. So starting off, this is asking about your parents' demographics, and it's going to ask questions about your parents' marital status, if your parents have ever been married, or if you're just with a single parent. Then it'll ask about when they were married and all their other information. So let's get started. From here, you can select your parents' marital status, and then you can go through and answer all the questions. Once again, these are all test answers, so none of these are real. Now it's going to ask if your parents have been lived in New Jersey for 5 years. Now it's going to ask you about the household size. So in this case, it's two parents in the household and one student. So that makes a household three and one going to college. But let's say that this student has another sibling and increased by one. So now it's four in the household because of that other sibling. And let's say they're going to college. So now it's a 4 and a 2 household because there's four people living in the household and two people going to college. But we'll change the answers back to their original. All right, now it's going to ask about your parents' financial information. From here, you will complete the following questions. You can choose from a variety of already completed, will not file, and will file. And go on from there. It'll ask about the marital status or the tax filing status, I'm sorry, on the tax records. Then you can go from there. The IRS data retrieval tool. It's a tool that is from the IRS where they manually put the tax information right on your FAFSA, so it's quick and easy and it makes the process a lot quicker. But for the purpose of this video, I will be going through and showing you how to fill it out with using your standard tax returns. But if you were to use the IRS data retrieval tool, then all you would simply need to do is put the address that is on your 2018 tax return or whatever tax return you're using for that aid year. This applies to all of them. Make sure it's the same exact address and then link it. And then when it says transfer, you click transfer now. Now it's asking for the adjusted gross income. You can find this by looking at the tax form. On this line, it'll tell you where to exactly go to find the amount. It'll do that for the wages as well. You'll just have to read through, and usually it's the last portion of the sentence where it tells you where you can find the information for the required tax information. Now, these are just some standard questions uh, asking about other sources of amounts, whether it be combat pay, student college grants, and everything like as such. If any of these apply to you, then you can simply add them to the FAFSA. Now it's asking for the total assets that your parents have. For this first question, it is asking about cash, savings, and checkings. So they put that there, and the rest of the questions are asking about different types of assets that they hold. And now you'll do the same thing for the student. And if you are eligible to use the FSA IRS data retrieval tool, then you can just click link to IRS and then complete the form from there. In this case, we are not going to because I want to show you what it looks like when you're filling it out with just your taxes. It's basically the same thing that the parents did, with the exception of maybe one or two questions. And once again, it's asking about the cash, checking, and savings, where it would save here, put in the cash, checking, and savings, and then it is asking about different types of assets that the student has. Now, lastly, we are at the final part, the part where you have to sign and submit. It will ask if you are if you are prepared. This is very rare. If you want more information, you can click the hyperlink right here, and it'll take you to get more information. Otherwise, you can click this question mark right here. So now it asks you to review your FAFSA to make sure that everything is on there. One thing I like to double check is if I have the school code on here. That's way I know that the college is receiving the FAFSA, because it does take up to 2 weeks for us to receive the FAFSA. And if you do not have the code on there, it'll take longer than that to receive. Because we won't be notified that we've received your FAFSA, so you have to contact us individually, and then we'll tell you, hey, we don't see your school code in there. Then you'll have to log back on and add the school code, and then it'll take another 2 weeks. So to prevent that 4-week process, please make sure when you're going through this section to make sure that the school code is on here. Once again, it's just asking for you to double check all your information, make sure everything's correct. And if you see something that is not correct, then you can go back and change it at the bottom right here where it says previous, and you can go back to the FAFSA and edit your information. Now, this is the last and final step. This is where you would sign the signature, or I'm not going to sign this one because this is a test student, but what you'll need to do is click provide student signature. It'll ask you to click sign, and then you'll sign, and that portion is done. And then for the parent signature, you will click this button. It'll click sign, or it'll ask for you to sign into your parent FSA ID, and then from there you will complete your FAFSA as such. Just to highlight some important things to remember when completing your FAFSA, create an FSA ID for both the student and the parent. You'll also need to use the data retriever tool if you are eligible. It'll make the process go a lot quicker than using your 2018 taxes and W-2s because the information comes directly from the IRS. Also, remember to add our school code, that is 006901. You can either find that on the website or you can ask us by emailing us. Also, remember to click sign before submitting your FAFSA. That way, if it's missing a parent signature, then we'll have to ask you to go back onto the FAFSA and sign it, and that takes another 2 weeks for it to come back into our school. Also, please remember to check your portal email because we will be sending you emails in regards to your financial aid in order to complete your process, because you do still have more requirements that you'll have to complete, depending or not if you're selected for verification. But you can find that out when you receive the email for your specific case. And lastly, if you do have questions, please feel free to email us at financialaid@rcsj.edu, or you can call us at 856-415-2210, and we'll be glad to assist you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.